Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on Little's Law YouTube channel. So, in one of our previous videos on how to execute a JMeter load test using Jenkins, we have got a comment asking for how to execute a load test using JMeter, the Git repository, and Jenkins pipeline. So, as I remember, I have used the Jenkins and then the local repository, the local location in my machine which I used for execution. So in this video I will show you how to use or how to integrate the GitHub with Jenkins and then how to run a JMeter load test using Jenkins. So for that, the prerequisite is we need to have a Jenkins account. So I have a Jenkins account here. And then the second thing is we need to have a GitHub account. And here I have a GitHub account, and under GitHub I have a project, and today we are going to test the summary report.jmx file as part of this testing. And then when it comes to the next step, so we'll have to set up the GitHub in JMeter. So for that, let's go to the Jenkins. Sorry, it should be setting GitHub in Jenkins. So let's set up the GitHub in Jenkins, and for that I'm clicking on new item, and then let me click the freestyle project, and I'm going to give the name as Jenkins underscore GitHub and JMeter test. So this is going to be the freestyle project name, and then I'm not choosing anything else, and then I'm clicking on OK. And once I click on OK, the freestyle project has got created. And now if you remember, if you have watched my previous video on how to execute the JMeter test using Jenkins, I have not selected the source code management, and I have just chosen only none as the source code management. But now today we are going to choose the Git as our repo, the source code management, the SCM tool. And to set up the repository URL, you'll have to go to the GitHub and then click on the code, the green button on the GitHub page, which you can see here, and then click on this clipboard. So this will have the name of the repo which ends with Git. So this is very important. So make sure you are selecting the HTTPS, and then make sure you are selecting a repo with which ends with .git, and then click on this clipboard and then come back to the Jenkins and let's paste the repository URL. So far what we did is in Jenkins we have created a freestyle project. This is done, and then secondly we have come to the project, and where we have chosen Git under the source code management. So we have chosen Git under source code management, and then we gave the URL from GitHub. So let's go forward, and then we gave the URL here, and then for the credentials I'm choosing the GitHub credentials which I have already set up here. So for example, I can just show you. So let me just save and go back to the dashboard, and under the dashboard and here under my name and the credentials, so here I have set up the GitHub. So this is what I'm using now for the project. So this you can find here under your name, and then the credentials, and then the GitHub account. So let's go back to the project now. So to the Jenkins GitHub JMeter test, go back to the configure, and under configure we will see again. So we have set up the repository URL, the credentials, and then let's go to the branch to build. So here we can see it's the main branch. So in case if you are setting up this to the develop branch, you are always welcome to set up the develop branch, because before we move the code to the main branch, we can complete the testing in the develop branch, and it's always safe that we do not want to merge the code at the final repo. So but for now, let's choose the main as our testing branch. So it's always our option, and it's better we can avoid choosing the final repo for testing. So we can always choose develop or master anyway which we want to test in our application. And then let's come to the next step where we have to build these steps. And for building steps, so here let us choose the execute Windows batch command, and under the batch command, so here I'm going to separate these steps into three different ones. So the first part of this is going to be the bin folder. So under the bin folder, so this is where the JMeter is set up, and then under this bin folder we have the jmeter.bat, and then -n-t, we all know that's the name of the test that we are going to test as part of this JMeter Jenkins GitHub integration, and this is the name of the JMX file that we are going to test. So under here within quotes I'm giving the name, and then -l with test results.jtl. So this will create the results with the JTL extension. So far we have completed the integration with Jenkins, JMeter and GitHub. So we have integrated the GitHub project into Jenkins. So where the JMeter project which we have uploaded in GitHub, and then we have integrated it to the Jenkins. So let me click on apply, save, and I'm going to build the project now. So the building is in progress, and we will wait for the results to come up. Before that, let's click on this and go to the console output, and let's wait for the results. And here we can see the project has cloned the GitHub repo that we have did. So this is where it takes us. So this is what we have fetched. So here we can see it is cloning the repository, and then it is fetching the upstream changes. So in case if there are any changes at the last minute, all of them will be taken using the git fetch. And then you can see here all the GitHub actions are taking place, and at the end when everything is committed, so here we can see the file has been taken finally as part of this. And then once everything is done, so here the test has started and it's running now. So here we can see at the end that the test is completed successfully. It's completed, and then here we can see the results in the plain text, and then here we can see the git build data where we can find which version or like which branch has been used for this testing. So here we can see the main branch is used for testing. So with that we have completed the test, and then we are coming to the end of the video. So in our next video we will see how to use the webhook to run the same test into the GitHub actions, and then we will see how to use the trigger to run the test using Jenkins. So until then, it's bye bye from Vasan Shanmugam and Little Sla.